Hello, everyone. My name is Dominique Gibson, and I am doing a AquaTube. This is my AquaTube Newbie Tag 2.0, whereas I would literally go on AquaTube and answer some of the questions that has been posted with the new AquaTube Newbie Tag 2.0. So this is my video on that. So I'll just go ahead and answer the questions. This is probably going to be part one of this video. I'll probably answer questions 1 through 7, and then I'll have a part 2 where I'll answer the rest of the questions. So let's go ahead and get started. So, what is your book's pitch? If you have multiple works, choose your favorite. So my answer to this would be, welcome to the world of the Tucson Super Elite Team, where hybrids are superheroes fighting the world's most dangerous criminals while falling in love, finding true love every step of the way. Okay, so that would be my pitch for my Tucson SET series. I'll be sure to add the links down below if you want more information or if you're curious about the Tucson SET series. I also did a short introductory video, which I will post in the links down below if you want to know more information about the Tucson SET series and my publishing journey when it comes to publishing these books in both the traditional publishing landscape and the self-publishing landscape. So I'll be sure to provide a link down below on that. Question number 2. If you were a book, how would you pitch yourself? Well, if you are the type of reader that likes paranormal / sci-fi, light sci-fi, romance with a sci-fi background, then my book would be for you. My book series would be for you. So that's how I would pitch my book if I were a book. What do I usually write is question number 3. So what I'm writing right now is a lot of sci-fi / superhero / paranormal romances. I enjoy writing the Tucson SET series. I don't know if you can tell, but this is the book that I'm currently working on right now. It's called Courtney's Redemption. I've been working on the Tucson SET series since 2019. Well, really since 2009 with the first book, but I self-published back in 2019. And it's something that I really enjoy doing because I liked Vampire Diaries, I like Twilight, I like reading a lot of paranormal romances because it takes me away from my real life situation, which I am an infant / toddler teacher during the day. And then at night, when I come home, I usually either read paranormal romances or I would write paranormal romances. So that's what I'm working on right now. I am working on another project, which is something that's totally different from what I'm writing right now, which is a women's fiction novel. And the working title is called Weslow Heights. This was something that I thought about doing when it comes to traditional publishing, but considering what's happening recently when it comes to the traditional publishing landscape, I have decided that I just want to go straight self-publishing. And I'm going to stop talking now. Oh, and one other genre that I really like writing in is young adult. So I've started writing young adult and paranormal romances back in 2009. I kind of wavered off young adult for a little bit, but I am going to get back into it because I plan on doing a young adult version to the Tucson SET series in the near future. So that's my question for that. Sorry, give me a second. What's something that you'll never write? This is actually a good question. Something that I will never ever write would be historical romances set in a Victorian era. And the reason why I say this is because I've tried reading, well, it was a historical romance, but it wasn't set in a Victorian era. It was around the Western times. And I read a couple of pages of this book and I did not like it. I could not resonate when it came to the characters. I couldn't imagine myself in that particular situation, considering the fact that I wasn't born in that time period. And it was just a lot of historical details and stuff like that, which is an acceptable rule when it comes to historical romances. It's not my cup of tea. I don't plan on writing historical romances in the Western times or in the Victorian era. I have entertained the notion of writing historical romance in the Egyptian times, though. So I'll probably continue to entertain that in the near future, because the way that my world is set up, it goes back into ancient Egyptian times. So that's something that I've thought about and considered, and probably would do something in either in the near future or like maybe a year or two from now. So, what is your goal for starting an author2 channel? So, my goal when it came to originally starting an author2 channel, which I think I started back in 2020, 2021, I think, was just overall just having people look at my videos and see what I go through when it comes to the writing process, how my writing process is versus other writers. I'm what you call a little bit of both a plotter and a pantser. So my thing about it is, when it's longer novels, I do have an outline when it comes to the longer novels, like about 200 pages and over. But when it comes to short stories or even novellas, I tend to write by the seat of my pants when it comes to this, and then come back and edit it later. The reason why I do this is because with novels, I feel as if it takes a longer time, and sometimes you can get lost in the story to a point where you don't know where you're going, which direction you're going. Whereas with short stories and novellas, they're a little bit shorter, so you can have the freedom to like free write it. And after it's done, you can go back and be like, yeah, I need to make some changes to this, but it's not as extensive as it is with an actual novel. Whereas, you have 200, 300 pages, whereas you literally have to go back and figure out, what happened with this character on page 4, and then page 52, it might be something totally different. So I do a little bit of both. I'm still learning about the writing process in general when it comes to what I'm comfortable with and what I'm not comfortable with. But so far, I go back and forth between being a plotter and a pantser. So that was my initial start with the YouTube channel, was just talking about the writing process in general, what I'm going through, and just basically promoting the True Sign SCP series, and that's basically about it so far. What made you start writing? So I think I talked about this in my video. I'm only going to do a short briefing of it because I don't want to spend too long on this question. But my writing journey started when I was 8 years old. My first story was about a man who goes to the bank and steals a bag of money out of the bank and ends up keeping it, but the police ends up catching him and returns the bag of money back to the bank, and it's the end. That's the end of the story. That was one of the first stories that I had written, and ever since I wrote that story, I've loved writing ever since. I've never really looked back. So off and on throughout the years, I wrote horror novels because I was really into R.L. Stine's books. I was really into Anna Martin's books as well, but R.L. Stine took more of my attention than Anna Martin did, even though I used to read her too. Babysitter's Club. So with R.L. Stine, it was Fear Street. So I used to write a lot of horror stories. One of those stories was called Bridgewood, whereas I had these whole bunch of kids getting killed by this one serial killer who, has like a legend with Bridgewood and all that stuff. So I really enjoyed it. I kind of want to go back to it someday, maybe someday, but I don't think I'm gonna go do it anytime soon. Then over the years, my writing process changed from horror, then it was romance, because at one point I wanted to be a Harlequin romance author, because I like reading Harlequin romances. I really do. They're my favorite go-to whenever I'm getting stressed out when it comes to my job. And then it went from romance to young adult, and then it went from young adult to paranormal romances. So my writing process has changed over the years, and I started this journey very early. So writing is in my blood. It's what I do. It's what I love to do, and I can't think of doing anything else besides this right now or ever. I don't know. What's your publishing path? Self-publishing, traditional publishing, hybrid, or haven't decided yet, or just write for fun? I am currently, as I stated, a self-published author of 5 books, I want to say. 2 nonfiction books are called The Gibson Newsletter, A Year in Review. I have 2019 and 2020. I did not release a 2021 version of it yet. I'm still debating on whether I should or not. And then I am the author of 3 novels in the Tucson SET series, Enormous Revenge, Enormous Fate, and Enormous Allegiance, which is all available. Well, the first 2 books are available online worldwide, and the 3rd book is exclusively available on Amazon through KDP Select, but that's actually going to change. I need to go back and change that because I want it to be on Drafted Digital and other online distributors. I have not gotten into Ingram Spark yet. The reason being is because I want to double check and make sure that everything is good when it comes to Ingram Spark. And lately I have been doing Kindle cover creator and all that stuff to create an actual book cover with Amazon, but I really need to sit down and actually do a book cover that can expand all the distributors when it comes to the print version of my book, which is something I really need to do on my to-do list for right now. I planned on going hybrid, meaning that I was going to end up being both self-published and traditionally published. But as I stated, there's been some recent developments that's happening in the traditional publishing world that I do not agree with at all. And it has gotten to a point where I'm literally like, I really want to stick with self-publishing right now. I do not want to go back to traditional publishing. And I think that is the best decision that I could have ever made for myself, because I really do not like what's going on in the traditional publishing world. And if I ever find an opportunity, actually, I was actually going to do a video to talk about why. I won't do it here, but I'll probably do another video as I talk about why on my AuthorTube channel. I think that'll be a good idea. All right, next question, please. Oh, I said I was going to do a second video on this, but I think I'm just going to keep going for right now. What content do you bring to the AuthorTube table? I'm not really sure about this yet. As I previously stated, I just like making videos for right now about talking about my writing process and what I go through and the revision process and stuff like that. I recently did some videos. I think it was like at least one video on this book right here, According to Redemption, whereas I showed the inside of the actual process online, and I showed the book as well. My revision process, whereas I actually put in sticky notes on where I need to improve at. This book is actually the first draft, but I put it in book form so that I'll be able to read it better, understand it better, and learn how to revise it a little bit more, revise it a little bit better than what I've previously been doing, which is revising it online and through my computer. And sometimes it works, but sometimes, you just need to see it in book form in order to be like, okay, here's the changes that I need to make, and here's how I'm going to make those changes. So Basically, I don't know what I can bring to the table yet. I have a few ideas. I have both a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in creative writing from two different places, and I can share my experience on that if anybody's interested in that. I know that a lot of writers ask, do you really need a degree in order to be a writer? And the answer to that would absolutely be no. You don't necessarily need a degree in order to be a writer. There's been plenty of writers out here who don't have creative writing degrees that went on to become successful. With me in particular, I just love writing so much that I was able to get a degree out of it. And plus, on top of that, there's some things that happens in the writing programs that actually do help you when it comes to writing a book. And then there's disadvantages when it comes to a writing program as well, which is something that I'll probably talk about in the future. My experiences with both having a bachelor's and having a master's degree in creative writing. And something I look forward to doing in the near future as well. All right. What is your biggest writing struggle? I wouldn't say I have a writing struggle when it comes to the actual book itself. My biggest struggle is time management. And it's something that I'm constantly working on. Hang on a second. This is something I'm constantly working on because it's not easy when you have a full-time job Monday through Friday, and then you come home and you know that you're supposed to write, but it's like you're extremely exhausted that you just want to be like, you know what, I'm done for the day. I just want to take a bath, brush my teeth, do my nightly duties, and just go to sleep. And I've been really trying my absolute best in order to write during the week, because I know I do it a lot on the weekends. Weekends is like my thing, whereas I do a lot of writing, and I also do a lot of book coaching, because I'm also an up and coming book coach. If you're interested in that, I'll probably provide the link down below for more information about that. But weekends are my thing, whereas I mostly do my writing and my book coaching on the weekends, because I know that throughout the week I'm just extremely exhausted. I work as an infant toddler teacher. So when you work in a daycare setting as an infant toddler teacher, it can be tiresome at times because you're dealing with multiple children at one time. So, you know, more than likely I'm doing lesson plans, I'm doing observations and stuff like that. And then you come home and you have to sit and find time in order to write, and just half of the time it just does not happen. So one of the things for me is just time management. It's just literally sitting down for like 15 to 30 minutes and saying, you know what, you really need to write. And so I've been actually trying to do my best in order to do that. And I'll probably put some videos on it about, you know, how my week went when it comes to exercising this particular writing activity, so I'll progress more when it comes to writing my books in the future. All right. We're gonna go through question 10. What is your biggest writing skill? So my biggest writing skill for me is dialogue. Love dialogue. If you read my books, you'll absolutely see why I love dialogue, first of all, because dialogue, you can reveal so much in dialogue that you normally won't be able to reveal when it comes to other writing elements. I mean, foreshadowing is okay, internal thoughts is okay, but you can only foreshadow so much for so long, and you can only use internal thoughts for so long. And in a way, you can only use dialogue for so long too, but dialogue just gives me that fresh perspective of revealing characters' deepest and darkest secrets when they're around other characters and they use dialogue in order to talk about things. So if you notice, like in some of my work, I use dialogue quite a lot because I really like dialogue. And then dialogue can also be used in order to speed up a story a little bit, versus you narrating the story and the story slowing down because of the fact that you're doing a lot of summarizing and a lot of summarizing and a lot of different things when it comes to that. You don't want to lose the reader at the same time, but at the same time, you have to find the balance between narrating and dialogue. But overall, I just love dialogue. I think dialogue is great. You can do so much in dialogue that you normally can't do with other writing elements, and that's just my opinion. Feel free to comment if you feel differently. If you've been on YouTube for a while, what's your biggest author to question? My biggest author to question would be, what do the readers and authors want to know when it comes to my situation? Do they want to know how to juggle a full-time job when it comes to writing? Do they want to know how the experience was like when it comes to getting a degree, an actual degree in creative writing? What is your take on it? Things like that. So I'm looking for whatever it is to help authors and readers or aspiring authors out there who might be new to this whole author tube and to the writing process in general. I'm here to help them and be like, hey, what's your questions? What do you want to know about me? What do you want to know about when it comes to the writing process in general? And I think that I do this a lot when it comes to the book coaching as well. Like, it's not just me editing your manuscript. What about your writing process in general? Are you struggling with it? Well, what's going on? Is there anything I can help you with? So it's just those questions. Feel free to ask those questions, because I'm here to, I like helping other writers when it comes to their publishing journeys and figuring out what questions they may want to ask that they might not be able to ask anybody else who's been through both the traditional publishing journey and the self-publishing journey. So I think that's probably one of the main things that I would look forward to. Are you looking for any new channels to follow, beta, CPs, or other types of writer buddies? If so, tell us who you're looking for. Comment with them in the comments. So, I mean, I don't have any specific writing buddy or somebody to pair up with. I'm open to people that I feel it could be beneficial when it comes to giving out writing advice, or if they're just curious about writing in general. I mean, I'm open to just about anything. I'm open to writing events, writing sprints, joining a community of writers. I'm open to all of it. I would probably resonate more with people that actually write in the genres that I like to write in, which is romance, except historical romance, romance, young adult, and women's fiction, which is something that I'm writing right now. And it's also something that I'm coaching in right now. So something along those lines, I'm down for it. Please feel free to contact me. We can talk about, share each other's writing journeys and things like that. So I really don't have any particular writing buddies or people that I follow right now. I should say that I do follow Sarah Cannon, and I do follow one other person that I've been following. And I can't think of her name right now, but I'll be sure to let you guys, get back to you and let you guys know about the people that I follow so far in the self-publishing world, and then in the traditional publishing world too. It's at least 2 people that I'm following right now in the traditional publishing sense. And then there's like 2 people that I'm following so far in the self-publishing sense. So I'm sure to provide more information if you want to know more about that. Okay. And the last question, what are you most excited for doing this new fresh start on AuthorTube? I would say meeting other writers and sharing our experiences and going through different writing sprints, or just talking about writing in general. What do you go through? What has helped for you that might help other writers too? Because I feel as if we could all learn from each other when it comes to the writing world. So My hope is that I'll be able to find people that's actually looking at my videos and want to reach out. That's fine. I'm looking for a fresh start because I know that I have some videos on my own YouTube channel that people can look at and watch and view. And if they're interested, I'll be sure to provide that, all that in the link down below. So I guess that's basically about it. Again, my name is Dominique Gibson. Hello to AuthorTube and everybody out there who's joining in on AuthorTube. Glad to meet you. Nice knowing you. Hopefully we'll be in contact soon. If not, then, I'll see you when I see you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.